Hello students. This semester in English 102 we are doing 2 exploratory projects, and in the second half of the semester you will pick one of them to expand on for your longer research paper. We're starting your first exploratory project now, so this video is going to go over the basic expectations and how to get started on this. Later there'll be a video specifically about the essay itself. So where this is leading in a few weeks is a 900-word essay, not counting your works cited list. So that's just about 3 pages in most fonts. You can write 3 to 4 pages. 900 words or a little more. So that's not a very long essay, at least in my opinion. I know that's easy for me to say. This essay is going to explore 2 sides of a debate. It'll be an informative paper on that debate. You will not take a position. You're going to stay neutral. The purpose of the paper is to lay the groundwork for a possible persuasive essay later in the semester. But now you just want to show that you have researched and understand both sides, or maybe 3 sides if there are, of a debate that experts disagree with or disagree about. Okay? You need to use a minimum of 3 sources in the final paper, and one of those sources, at least one, must be from OneSearch, our PSC library database searching tool. Bill Condon will be giving us lots of information about that. If you haven't used it yet, you will get caught up on how to do that. Okay. Now these sources, these 3 sources and one OneSearch, are the minimum. In order to come up with 3 or more really good sources for your paper, you should plan to read probably 12 to 15 sources over the next couple of weeks and really get to know your topic well. Okay, so remember that this class is a class about information literacy, and the way that Prairie State defines this is as follows. And this project will help you get through all these stages of information literacy. First, students who are information literate can formulate a question or define a task at hand. You'll be coming up with a couple of research questions. I want you to have one backup that you will email me soon to show me that you understand the scope of the topic and so forth. So being able to formulate your research question is a good start. Identifying appropriate sources and understanding how to evaluate those sources. Differentiating and using information seeking tools. So this means in addition to Google, you'll learn how to use library databases. Evaluating information. I mentioned this already. Once you find the information, you need to look at how carefully it's been produced, look at how good the information is, and so forth. And then finally, in the last stages, you'll be synthesizing. You'll be thinking about connections between your sources and how to interpret that information and put it together in a paper where you use that information ethically and responsibly. In other words, you accurately present what your sources have said without plagiarizing it. Okay, so all of these things, all of these skills are going to be demonstrated in the work that you do this semester, starting with picking a research question. Now, as you pick a debate, a question, open-ended question about an issue that scholars are debating, here are some things I want you to think about. This is a checklist I want you to use. First of all, are you open-minded about the topic? Are you willing to equally explore both sides and not just your bias? This is so important. If you are already closed-minded about the topic, if you have your mind made up, then what you'll end up doing in your research is what is called confirmation bias, where you're looking only for sources that you already agree with. So avoid those issues where you already have a firm position, and instead explore those about which you're truly open-minded. In addition to that, it's so important that you pick something that you really care about, that you really want to know more about, because you're going to be spending at least a few weeks with this topic, and possibly the second half of the semester if you pick this topic for expanding on later. And then I also want you to be thinking about audience. Why would other college students and college professors care about your topic? Do experts take your topic seriously? You need to find good research, right? So you need to make sure that experts, scholars, journalists have taken this seriously enough so that there's going to be good, credible research available on both sides of the debate. Is your topic complex enough? In other words, if you can answer your question with 1 or 2 Google searches, if all of your sources agree, then it's probably not complex enough. If you can answer your question in 1 paragraph, that's not going to work. But at the same time, you don't want the topic to be so broad, so complex that you won't be able to get a good handle on it in just a few pages, right? So if it's something incredibly complex like the causes of international tensions in the Middle East or something like that, that's just too big for a paper like this. So you kind of have to thread the needle when you're picking your topic. And then finally, is your topic accessible for a college student? Are you going to be able to understand your sources? So I just want to quickly show you some research questions that my previous students have done successfully. You might want to pause the video if you want to take another look at any of these. But as they pop up on the screen, you can see that, oops, let me go back, that there's just a wide range of things: criminal justice, college education or K through 12 education, nuclear energy, childbirth, taxes, produce, organic produce, immigration, environmental issues with the Paris Agreement. There's just a wide range of things. Research questions that my students haven't picked yet, but that I've been personally thinking about because they've come up in the news lately. Should cash bail be eliminated? The Illinois legislature recently passed a law to eliminate cash bail, the first state in the country. Is that a good idea? Should high schools require more civics education? That has come up a lot lately with everything going on in the United States. What are the benefits and drawbacks of AP classes? This should be a separate topic here. Should student loans be forgiven? These are things that people are talking about right now. Should the Voting Rights Act be restored? Recently, Congress acted to gut parts of the Voting Rights Act that was passed. How has that affected? You see people standing in very, very long lines to vote. Would restoring the Voting Rights Act help with that? Should states pass laws to make voting easier? Should Election Day be a holiday? Should we have more mail-in voting? Or should we pass laws to make it even harder to vote? This is a big debate right now. So there's a lot of possibilities. This slide is samples that I've given you on the handout you'll be reading. So you can see, again, a wide range of possible topics. A lot of my students have researched education-related things because they spend so much time in educational settings that they kind of know a lot about that topic. You might also pick topics or questions related to your future career path, if you know what that might be, to your hobbies, your interests. So keep your mind open. There are many, many possibilities. Topics that don't work well for this kind of paper are conspiracy theories, really broad philosophical or theological questions. They might be really important to think about and fun to think about, but they wouldn't work well for this kind of paper. Stuff that's really overdone, abortion, gun control, the death penalty, marijuana. If you think there's something within those topics that you can present a unique angle on that we haven't read about a lot already, you can ask me about that. Also, topics that are too simple, too new, too complex and broad don't work well. And as I've said before, you should avoid topics that you've already made up your mind about. And topics that you've researched before. In the syllabus, I mentioned recycling. It is not okay to just redo a paper you've already done, okay? If you have questions about researching a different angle of a topic you've looked at before, then we should have a conversation about that. But I don't want you to get into a situation where you're just duplicating previous work and you end up getting a 0 on it because it doesn't count for college credit if you do it twice. All right, so over the next few weeks, here's some things I want you to do. First of all, you'll be setting up a virtual conference with me. Set that up right away, but it can happen anytime over the next few weeks before your essay is due so that we can talk about your research. I'll be presenting sample materials for you and videos to help you. You will be emailing me very soon with at least 2 tentative research questions. I want you to have at least 1 backup in case your first choice doesn't end up working out for you. You will be writing a proposal once you commit to your topic. You'll be doing 3 source analysis worksheets on any 3 sources that you research. They don't have to be the same sources you end up using in the paper, though. At least one of those needs to be from the Prairie State Library, the one search tool that I mentioned before. Again, you want to show that you can use a variety of search tools and not only Google. You'll be sharing your ideas in discussion posts and giving feedback to your classmates. You'll be checking in with me via email, and all of these steps happen before your essay and self-appraisal are due, so you will be getting lots of feedback from me and from Professor Condon and even a little bit from your classmates so that you know that you're on the right track. And if you do all of these steps, the paper itself will be manageable. Okay, just want to remind you of all these resources you will have at your disposal. Make sure that you reach out to me or to Professor Condon whenever you have questions. We are here to give you individualized help in addition to the resources that we post for you on D2L. Okay, we're here to help you along the way. Make sure that you read the handout that I'm posting about this assignment. It has a lot more details, including the deadlines for the specific steps that are coming up. Okay, you got this. Have fun picking a topic that you really care about.